You want to move quickly, so let's start there. What do you need the funding for, and how are you going to deploy it?
Yeah, Ed, thanks for having me on again. Just a month ago, I was on the show talking about how we became the first startup in history to make nuclear power. We did that by powering an NVIDIA Blackwell chip, which was an amazing event. It was the first time that an advanced nuclear reactor has powered AI infrastructure directly. So you're right, it's been an amazing couple of months. We made a lot of progress. And really what this is about is it's giving us the firepower that we need to go build the gigasites. We've now demonstrated nuclear power. This is the reactor standing behind me here. And we have to build a lot more of these in order to make pace with AI. AI is building very quickly. We need a lot of power in every direction. And this is really about scale for us. So this is the firepower that we need to go and build.
Sequoia led the round, but Sean Maguire is also going to join your board. Why is that important to you? What is it that Sean can give you other than just the check?
You know, it's been amazing to spend some time with Sean over the last few months and get to know the rest of the Sequoia team and the partnership. I think Sean's a really, really thoughtful person. He spent a lot of time with SpaceX and understanding that business model. And I think one of the lessons to learn from SpaceX is really just the power of scale and pace of production. And that's something that we want to do in nuclear as well. So I think that his lessons that he's learned there are going to be applied very well to this business. And I'm really excited to welcome him to the board.
You know, the numbers here are really big, right? So it's $1 billion round, $6 billion post-money valuation. But with respect, you know, this is still early. This is nascent. It is high risk. It is technical. How contingent was that demo that you did just on the show a month ago in literally making the round materialize? How much did investors want to see that this worked?
You're right. This is super early. And this is a very long journey for us. We see this as a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. We're going to go and build the biggest energy company on Earth. So these are the very early days for sure. We have a lot to prove still. We want to prove pace of production. We want to go from building one reactor in a year to 6 months to once a month, and then even faster than that. So you're right, there's still a lot to prove. I think that this demonstration was really important. We've said for a long time that Valar Atomics is a hardware company. We're focused on hardware execution and on full vertical integration. And that's really what we proved here. We proved that we can take a patch of dirt, we can build a reactor on it, turn it on and operate it. And that's just one small step, but it's the first of many to go and build the nuclear power company of the future.
Isaiah, one of the things you and I have not yet discussed is who the customer ends up being. You want to build the nuclear power company of the future. You've explained the scale of the tech. You've powered one Blackwell chip, and I think that's important context for the audience. But who do you ultimately sell it to?
It's a really good question. I think that nuclear and energy in general is a bit noisy right now. You see a lot of deals getting signed that maybe are binding, maybe are not. We've been really, really focused and disciplined on this point, that we believe this is a hardware execution problem. Everyone needs energy. They need it at any price they can get it, as fast as they can get it. And so really, really focused on just executing on the hardware and bringing new power online. And I think once we get that new power online, that'll open us up to a bunch of really interesting customers who have large balance sheets, who depend on energy in order to build what they see as the future as well. And so that's, there's a handful of customers there that are interested in what we're doing, but we're going to stay focused, and we're going to stay focused on hardware execution.
Isaiah, I don't know how much you want to talk about finance. I don't know if you're the finance guy in truth at Valar, but an interesting credit facility, Palmer Luckey's Erebor and JP Morgan. It's a $200 million facility, but why was that important? You really sort of put it high up in the announcement today.
It is important to us. If the long term of this business, right, we don't want to be relying entirely on equity, and we think that power is a uniquely debt financeable thing. And so moving this company from something that's equity financed to debt finance is a long-term goal of ours, and it's really great to be working with partners like Erebor, who led this round, and JP Morgan, Crescent Cove, and Hercules as well coming into it. And we're really starting to demonstrate to the market that this is a business that can take large amounts of credit, deploy it very well, get the yield on that, and this is how we're going to run the business going forward, is that these reactors will be financed. They'll be financed by customers, by different ways of putting these tranches together. And that's really how we're going to go and build all of this CapEx. So we're excited to start to demonstrate this with Erebor.
Isaiah, let's end the conversation of talking about America's attitude and progress on your industry. Is America moving fast enough so that you can do the things that you want to do on the timelines that you've set out?
Look, it never feels like we're moving fast enough, right? We want to move so much faster than we are today. China has about 14 nuclear reactors under construction right now. and we're just starting to break ground on our next one here. So we need to move faster. If we want to win on AI, we have to go faster in all forms of power generation, but especially nuclear. I think nuclear is uniquely well suited to win the AI race. It's clean, it scales very well. You can build lots of it in one place next to a large data center. There's a lot of things that work really well for this, but frankly, we do need to move faster, and that's why we're so focused on the hardware execution.